So Umbrella Academy Season 4 releases tomorrow, and so I thought I'd make this video today to discuss which characters are likely to survive the following season. As this is the final season of the show, we want all of our favourite characters to have a good ending. But with a show like this, will that happen? So I thought it would be fun to make a video discussing the likelihood of every character surviving Season 4. Quickly, before we get into the video, if you do go on to enjoy the video, please subscribe to the channel. I make videos on the Umbrella Academy and I will continue to do so for Season 4, and I have many videos on other shows such as Doctor Who, Supernatural, The Boys. So if you like this video, you will probably like them as well. But let's get straight into this tier list. So where better a place to start than Luther, the number 1 of Umbrella Academy? And for me, this is an easy character to position, because in Season 3, he has quite literally already died, so I don't think they're going to do that again. And he also lost Sloane in the Season 3 finale, and I just feel like they're setting up for him having that happy ending. So I just think I'm going to put him in Not a Chance, because I don't think he will die. I just don't feel like there'll be a huge story impact for his death, and so I don't think they'll do it. Now, number 2 is Diego. Again, we're going along with the Academy members, and Diego's also one where I don't think he will. They've been setting up this arc of him going from the lone wolf to then meeting someone in the 60s and then basically trying parenthood out in the 3rd season. And in Season 4, it seems like he actually is a dad. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to kill off Diego, so he's also going in Not a Chance. Now, 3rd, we have Allison. She's a bit of a weird one to place, because loads of people in Season 3 have the criticism that she goes too far, she's out of character, she is irredeemable. And I would agree that she's irredeemable, and she is a terrible person in Season 3. I personally think it's all within her character, and I'm going to have a video coming out on that after I've made some Season 4 videos, because I was late to the party on Season 3, and I personally think Allison's character is amazing in that season. Not as a person, but as a character, and she's so entertaining to watch. The fact that she was not only horrible in that season to her family, but goes as far as trusting Reginald, and then getting her happy ending of having Claire and even Ray be her father, I feel like they've given her too much for how bad she was. I feel like she could actually die in this season. Maybe sort of as a redemption arc, like rather than fully redeem her and bring her back as one of the Umbrellas, maybe she is actually forced to die to make them all live, but because she's had a few years with her family, she's okay with that. Something along those lines I feel like could happen, and so for that, I'm going to put could easily happen. I don't think it's guaranteed, because she is still one of the protagonists technically, but it's definitely likely, I would say. Now, 4th, we have Klaus, and if I'm being honest, I didn't really need to talk much on this. Not a chance. This guy somehow survived getting vaporized by the Kugelblitz. How is he ever gonna die? He literally just can't. Like, he's immortal, so there's no point even answering this one. If they somehow find a way to kill him off, though, I will be mad, because he is the best character. Now, moving on, we have number 5, and 5 is one of those ones that I could actually see happening too. We have already seen him die before in Season 3 with his older self that was the founder of the commission, and so technically it would be repeating if we have him die, but they're 2 different people playing the character, and so I think there's that separation in people's heads. Also, he's the character that started this to save his family. If there was any character here that was to make a sacrifice for everybody else, although he, of all people, deserves this normal life and this rest, I feel like it could be him, and I'm going to put it in a possibility, because I think there's a chance. I wouldn't want it to happen necessarily, but it could. Now, number 6, we have Ben, and I'm under the assumption there is still only the one Sparrow Ben, despite that post-credit scene. I think that's the same one. I think that's partly because I don't think these kids even exist in this new timeline for that to happen, but Ben himself, I do actually think is almost a guaranteed death. Since Season 1, I've been under the impression that when the show ends, they are going to go back to the original timeline, and Ben is dead in that. With the focus in the trailer of Ben rediscovering this Jennifer incident and seeing how that plays out, I feel like there's going to be something to do with that having to take place. Think of the Spider-Verse films with the canon events. I know that may sound a bit random, but this show has touched on pretty much every other type of time travel, even alternate universes in a way, and I don't think that's too far-fetched that Ben's death is a canon event sort of thing, and it kind of feels that way from the trailer, that it's one of those things that has to happen, and because it doesn't, something is going wrong in this world, and because of that, I think he is almost guaranteed to die. I think there's enough there that in this season we can see this Sparrow Ben lighten up a bit more and do what he has to save everybody, and I'm excited to see that play out. As much as that does suck for the character, I think he is on that guaranteed shopping list. Now, in number 7, we have Victor, and Victor's a character that I could see go both ways on either side of the tier list, really. I mean, they destroyed the world twice, technically having a decent bit of involvement in the 3rd, and so why wouldn't they be there for the 4th? Why not? However, because of the rock bottom they started at in the 1st season, and how they've grown to be this more accountable and accepting person, season, I feel like killing them off would just suck. I just don't see a way in which they can kill off this character and make it work with the story. I just feel like it would be too big of a gut punch, and not in a way where it feels meaningful, more of just a literal punch in the gut. And so for that, I'm going to put them in not very likely, purely because I think there is a small chance that that could actually happen, but I don't want it to. Now, in number 8, we have Lila, and for me, Lila's the same as Diego. As much as she had this bad past in season 2, and there's definitely areas to her that are a bit more villainous, she has come around in season 3, and setting her up to be a mother with Diego, I feel like she can't die. I also don't think she has as strong a connection to her from the audience as, say, the rest of the Umbrella Academy, or even the individual members like 5, that would make her death actually fully impactful. I don't think she would ever be the type to sacrifice herself other than for Diego, and the fact that I don't think we're going to see a sacrifice to save Diego, I don't think she will die in this season. I feel like she will be one of those that makes it out, so she's going in not a chance. Now, number 9 is actually Sloane, and I have put her on this tier list despite her not being in the season 3 finale scene at the end, because I'm pretty sure she is in season 4, and I want her to show back up for Luther in season 4, and that's another character where I feel like she has to have this happy ending with Luther. I know it's a bit weird me just putting all the couples in the not a chance of death, but the couples in this show are the characters that are not always integral to the end of the world, and are not always rooted in the main plot itself, and so I don't see the reason for them ever going to the point of dying for it. And so I'm gonna put Sloane in not a chance, and that is all based on if she is in this season. If she's not, well then she's already dead and she'd be on guaranteed, but that's where she's going for now. And next we have 2 new characters. It's the 2 Jeans, and I'm gonna put these characters together because I don't really know where to put them, and from the trailer they seem very similar, almost the same character. And this isn't really a spoiler, but they are apparently just college professors that really like Allison for some reason, and I don't really know what to make of that just yet without seeing the season, so I'm not sure where to place them on here. The only thing I have to go off of is other side characters and other duos or groups in this show, and so far we had pretty much all the Swedes killed off. Hazel and Cha-Cha basically both died. The handler has also died. The whole commission has died. The only character I think that is a side character that hasn't fully died was Ray, and so the fact that we've got a couple more, I'm gonna put them in both not very likely, but I think there's a chance they could maybe die, especially if we're returning back to the old timeline. They may not exist. Now next we have David Cross's character, Gossman. Now I'm excited to see David Cross in this season, but I have no clue again really what he's gonna be like in this. I'm pretty sure he's a businessman, so my guess is he's related to Hargreaves in some way. Maybe he's some sort of middleman between Hargreaves that they have to deal with first. I don't really know. He's going to be related to Hargreaves somehow, and whenever he works with anyone, that doesn't go well. So I think there's definitely a chance that he could die, but I'm not going off much. I don't really know the character, and so I'm gonna put them in a possibility higher than the Jeans, because I think he's a bit closer related to Hargreaves, and we'll get more to him in a minute, but his fate is not looking good in my eyes. So this guy's gonna go in the middle. Now the 13th character we have is Grace, and I don't think we've seen her in the season 4 trailer, but I'm gonna assume she is in this season. She's been in all the others, even when you probably wouldn't expect it. And will she make it out alive? I'm going to say yes. I think she will, because again, I'm still going off the theory in my head that we're gonna return to some version of the original timeline, and so I think she will make it out alive, but it depends on when they return, because we know she died in season 1 at least a few hours before the apocalypse actually happened. If they go back just before Victor destroyed the world, she wouldn't be there. So I'm going to put them in not very likely to die, because I don't think they will. For me, it's just all dependent on if they return to that original timeline and they get there after she had already died. I mean, I could be completely off and we just stay in this timeline, and therefore all my reasoning is just off completely. But for me, that is where it goes. And the 14th spot, Pogo, is actually no different. I'm going to put the exact same, because he dies practically at the same time as Grace in the first season, and I'm expecting to see him in season 4. Whether these two characters die in season 4 in the new reality and then come back in the old reality, I don't know. It's again all to do with the timing and the way the show goes. So my reasoning is purely off the fact that I don't know if we'll see them this season, but we'll get them back, say, the final episode when we return to the original 2019. Now 15, we have Abigail, Hargreaves' I think supposed wife. I think that's just what we're all going with. And how likely is she to make it through the season? Now, despite the fact that it's Reginald's world and she was brought back, and I think the Umbrella Academy are going to try and stop him, I would like to say they're going to find a way to save Abigail too, even if they take down Hargreaves, because it's this sick woman that he's just been fighting for to bring back. I don't think they're that heartless that they hate Reginald so much they would call allows her to die again. And so I'm actually going to put it in could easily happen, because I want to say that small chance is there that the Umbrella Academy find a way to save her after beating Reginald, but there's also a high likelihood that in beating Reginald and saving the universe, she doesn't make it out. I'm just hoping they find a way, because she's that one character that, although we don't know much about, I feel like she just deserves to live for some reason. I don't know why, I just have that feeling that I want that to happen. Now, our last one, the 16th character, is Reginald Hargreaves, and we all know where this is going, okay? We all know this is going up with guaranteed with Ben, because he has to. I mean, he was dead at the first episode of this show, so if they go back with my idea of reverting the timelines again, he will not be alive, because they'll be after that no matter what. Also, he's the villain. He has to be the villain of this season. I don't see a way they make him not, and I just don't see them letting him live. We already had Allison kill him in the season 3 finale. I feel like we got to get all the questions, and then somehow they find a way to get rid of him for good. Everyone's had theories of him actually being a time traveler, and that this whole time he has actually been manipulating these people to go back in time to give him another chance at Hotel Oblivion, that he's this almost all-powerful alien as well. And so I would love to see this character just get ended in a way where he cannot come back ever, and I think that will actually happen. And that's the tier list. It's not perfectly spread out, you know, there's not a fair share in every category, but what can I say? There's a few characters here that I think will die, and there's quite a lot that I don't think will, but that's because I feel like there's got to be people surviving, and more than not. But overall, I think that's a decent list. I'm sure that you would say otherwise, and maybe you have Klaus as a guaranteed death, or maybe you even think Hargreaves will survive the whole thing and all the Umbrellas will die. It would be interesting to see what you think of this tier list, or where you would place these characters in your own. So let me know down in the comments where you would place these, or at least let me know who you think is going to die in this season. I'd be curious to see who you think and why. With that said, that is all I have for you today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.